Hey there, it's Katie Jarvis with Managing the Mess. If we haven't met before, I'm a K-6 elementary art teacher, and I teach at a Title I school just outside of Washington, D.C. In this video, I'm going to break down for you how I use an art room support report. The first question you're probably asking yourself is, what even is an art support report? Well, what it is a half sheet of paper that I've pre-printed out for classroom teachers. And this just works as a communication piece between myself and the classroom teacher. At the top, I have a spot for the classroom teacher's name and the date and what project we're working on, because sometimes that's relevant to what is going on. I have all of my classroom rules listed and then a spot for their name, the rule, and then the resolution. So what did I do to take care of that problem? At the bottom, I circle what paintbrush the class received. On the back, I have a little explanation of my management plan, so they understand my management plan with the gold and silver paintbrush system. Now, I have all that information in another video. I'll be sure to link that down below. But having the teachers understand what your plan is helps them to support your mission. So what types of things am I writing on these art support reports? What am I sharing with that classroom teacher? Well, I'm writing down anything that I would say to them if we had 2 minutes to have a conversation at the end of class. We don't. I got another class coming in. They've got places to go. So I record what they need to know. For example, if a student gets picked up early, maybe the teacher was in a meeting and they weren't privy to that information. So I would write that down. If a student goes to the clinic, or if they were complaining of an ailment that we weren't able to take care of during art. If there is a disagreement between students, I let the teacher know. Or if there is a student that is very worried about something in art class, and maybe something that they came in worried about and nervous about from recess, so we just write down that concern on the paper and make sure the classroom teacher knows about that at the end of class. I use this as part of my behavior management system also. Students get one free warning for their behavior. On the second warning about their behavior, I would write a note to the teacher on that note about what happened. Not that I'm asking them to do anything. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm writing down, what is it we're working on? So I might say, there was a student that I had to talk to twice about shouting out during my lesson. Now, this might be not news at all to the classroom teacher, but it might give them a little bit of insight. If this is something that you're only seeing in art, or it's something that they're also seeing as well, that could be very helpful information to the teacher. If a student has a timeout in art. So for me, that's if they got to the third warning, I let the classroom teacher know what happened and how I resolved that issue. So I'm not giving anything extra on the classroom teacher's plate, nothing that they have to deal with. I'm just simply communicating with them. How am I dealing with it for them? Did I already contact that student's parent? Am I planning to do that after school? Am I planning to do that if the behavior continues? And I'm just letting them know that I'm sort of tracking that and seeing a pattern of some type of behavior with a certain student. Now, I have found that the classroom teachers are very appreciative of the way that I do this, because I'm not taking their time. I'm not having them go, oh, how did they do today? And then we get into this long adult conversation and the line goes crazy. We're simply just passing on a note, and then that needs to know information is there. Particularly when you have a really challenging class, guess what? That classroom teacher is hearing that from all of the specialists, and they don't need to hear it. They just need to know what happened, so that if something bleeds over into their class, they know how to take care of that. Often also, the classroom teachers will be the first person when a parent calls the school that they ask questions to. So they might be able to, help eliminate you getting contacted by the parents if they already have that information to answer a simple parent question. Like, for example, if someone got messy during art and their shirt was ruined, you could message the family and say that had happened, but you could also let the classroom teacher know, hey, I know that Susie got really messy today in art, and I've sent a message through our school system communication, and let the parents know when you see them at at the pickup time, they might not have seen that message yet. So you might alert them to go ahead and look for that message. So you're really taking a lot of pressure off of the classroom teacher, that they know what you've taken care of and what things you are continuing to monitor. Classroom teachers have used the information and the actual art support reports. They've kind of stacked them up and used them during parent conferences and other times when they needed data on a student, because that was another source of data that they could see. Well, 3 times in a row, this student ran out of the art room and had to be chased around by the principal or whatever it is. Then they're tracking that. They've got that, it's not just that, oh, I remember the art teacher said. They have written down what you said has happened, and they can use that information as well. So I have found that classroom teachers really, really like the system that I use. It's a really quick way to communicate, and also it does not put any pressure on them to do anything, but they can rest easy knowing that I have taken care of the problems that have occurred during art. So why am I doing this? I am doing this as a way to strengthen my communication with the classroom teacher. I'm creating a relationship where we are working together to support those students. They're able to see that I'm supporting what they're doing in their classroom by contacting parents when I'm seeing behaviors that are less than ideal. That is supporting what the classroom teacher is doing, especially if they're seeing the same types of behaviors in their classroom. I'm sure as a classroom teacher, it really stinks to come and pick your class up and hear that negative information, especially when it's about the same class over and over, especially when it's about that same student over and over. So this is a positive way, even if things don't go right, because they often are not perfect. It's letting them know that you're supporting the class, you're taking care of things, and you are very open to communicating, and it helps them so that they can, suggest things to you. Hey, we're doing this with this student in my class. I can see that you're struggling with this in your class from your notes. Maybe you want to try this out. So it's a really helpful thing that I've found in a time when you don't have a lot of time to communicate with other adults, to open those lines of communication. If you've watched some of my videos before, you've heard me talk about these art support reports. It is in my behavior management video, and it's also in my lining up video, because I give these to the homeroom teacher at the end of art. And the biggest question that I've gotten back is, when do I find the time to fill these out? For me, on Sunday nights, I take just a very quick look at my planner and look at the coming week ahead. And that's when I fill out the top portion of that art support report. So I do that ahead of time. I fill in the date, I fill in the homeroom teacher, and then I fill in what are we making that week. Now, the next thing I would do is fill these out when I'm in class, because I'm adding information about what happened that day. So I am doing that right when it happens, if I can. If not, I'm doing it while the students are having some work time in the middle of the class. I do have hour-long classes, so I do have that luxury that there is a little bit of downtime for me as my students are working and I'm walking around. I also have a game that my students play at the end of art. So as they're waiting for the homeroom teacher to come and pick up the class, they're playing a silent game, and I am able to fill in any last-minute notes I might have for the classroom teacher. If you've made it this far, you're probably wondering, how can you get started on this in your art room? Well, I have you covered. Over on Teachers Pay Teachers, my storefront is called Managing the Mess. I'll also link it in the description down below, but I have a fully editable art support report. So you can add in your own rules, but you can also see what my rules are. You can see my full description that I give to the classroom teachers of my management plan and edit that or use it as is if you like. Now, I've got lots of freebies over there, so be sure to check that out. Next, you're going to want to check out some of my other videos about behavior management.